What's up, guys? Matt here, coming at you with another quick video today, taking a look at some of these Holmes Hobbies brushed motors for the SCX24. We have the 44, 55, and 66 turn. Honestly, I grabbed these just to kind of be fair and do a review, kind of check them out myself, because I don't run brushed motors often. Usually if my truck has a brushed motor in it, it's just because I've kind of like neglected it and not really running it much lately and haven't went brushless with it. I just really like the nanos and micros and stuff. And I mean, just like this thing, you know, I love that motor and it just works so well, so smooth, all the torque you could ever want. So I've kind of just went that way with the Lizard Pro and stuff. But if you're wanting to spend a little less money, maybe keep the stock ESC, slap in a better motor, these Holmes motors, most people know these for reliability. You know, they say they really last. I've got to say, I've only had one Holmes brushed motor, and it was in my Capra, and it did last a good 2 battery packs. I got to give it that. No, seriously, I had a bad experience with that motor, but that's why I bought these, is to be fair and give another chance, because that's what I'm about. Anyways, so we're going to install these. To me, most of these brushed motors, they all look the same. I'm sure they're all made in the same place. Maybe they have some different internals, and that's what people will argue, different magnets, different brushes, blah, blah, blah. And if you really want to take one apart and check it out, have at it. I'm not going to all that. But I am soldering wires on here because I don't get any with it. I enjoy that. So I'm going to get started with this free extra work that I got and get these installed. I'm going to put one of them in this thing because I killed this motor trying the FCX axles on here. This is completely stock. Then I'm going to probably put one in my father-in-law's truck because he deserves an upgrade. He's been running the same stock motor for like 2 years now, and he don't run this a lot, but you can see it has been used and ran through the dirt and added weight and everything, and he's still running stock motor in there. So we're putting one of these in there, and then I'll probably put one in here. I got this Bronco for Liam because he always wanted to steal mine. We put the wheels and tires on there, added the heavy wheels, kind of like mine. That really helps the performance of these things. If you need a little help keeping this thing planted, you can put these super heavy wheels on there, and I promise you, just doing that, this thing will climb 10 times better. Check out my video on the Bronco mods. I'll link it in the description. It really does make a huge difference for a stock Bronco. My buddy brought his stock Bronco over here, and he was like, it does nothing. And I was like, here, drive this. And it's totally different. So that's really all we did to this. We put the sliders from Flubber Stuffers. They're slick sliders, amazing sliders for like $7 or $8. But that's all I did. Honestly, Liam kind of lost interest in this once he got an FCX, and that's just the truth. And it has really not been ran at all. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade the motor in it. And then we'll kind of compare maybe these two. Oh, look, I just broke my bumper. This motor that's in here, I believe this is I think this is an aux I put in here. Like I said, they're all basically the same with if they don't have a label on them. So pretty sure that's an aux. That's usually the brush motor I go with. It's just really treated me well, and it seems to have the most wheel speed out of all of them that I've ran. And then this one has the CCXRC, whatever that's called, Baby Goliath, I think, or something in here. So maybe we'll see how that runs compared to these as well. But I'll get started with the installs, and then you guys will just see the fun part. So I assumed, you know, I've been seeing posts about these, and like Holmes has kind of been hyping these up for a while. Their motor's coming for the SCX24, and I just assumed since we waited so long for these that they would be the right bolt pattern. But as you can see, they're not. So you still have to drill out your motor plate. So fun. even more work. So what I do with these anymore to drill these out, I just keep a motor plate like this. That's one thing. There's a lot of brush motors out there now. I think even the Injora that come with this motor plate, which makes it even easier, but these don't. So I just keep one of these as a spare and lay it on here and mark my holes so that I can drill this in the correct spot. Makes it much easier. So you can just lay it on there, scratch you a little spot. You can see I scratched here and here, and that's where I'll drill my holes in this stock plate, and then we will get this installed. All right, so we got the 44 turn in here and the 66 in this one. Just right off the bat, feeling the throttle on these, this 44 has a lot more wheel speed, but it's kind of jumpy on high, like not a great slow crawl. Not bad on the rock. And I think, honestly, what I would do with that, because I like the wheel speed, is maybe go, you know, if you're on stock electronics, you can just click this down to like medium there, because you get the low, medium, and high. Or you could even go to low, I bet, and get a little better slow crawl out of it, maybe. So we'll have to run these on the course and kind of see, but I'm gonna like the wheel speed of this. You can see much more peppy than this one. I'll show you it here. So we'll test the wheel speed in just a second, but I wanted to show you kind of going over this rock here. Slow crawl on this, I think you can see right there, is already better. It just engages sooner. It's a little easier to get that slow crawl with the 66 turn. Much smoother slow crawl. Way better. I mean, I can feel it. I think you guys can see that, but it is way better feel when I'm driving. This one I can get a little bit, but I'm gonna like that wheel speed. You can tell the wheel speed, the difference. See that big difference there, but slow crawl to me is a little better with this one. So it kind of depends what you're going to want to do most. If you like that wheel speed for some big time climbs, you may want to go in between. Honestly, I think that may be a really good choice. For me, so far, I would probably just go with that. That way I get a little bit of both. But I am really liking the slow crawl of this on V1 electronics. That's pretty dang smooth. So I'm going to take these to a portion of the new indoor course I've been working on. I haven't crawled anything on this course, so I really don't have a lot of anything to base their performance on this, but I want to check it out, and then maybe we'll hit a couple of the climbs on the foam course that we're familiar with. All right, so we have the 66 turn over here, the 44 over here. 3, 2, 1, go. Big difference there. Pretty big difference. All right, so we got the Holmes 44 over here, baby Goliath on the right. Let's see which one has the better wheel speed on 2S. So not horrible, but definitely the 44 turn. And I haven't noticed any lack of torque out of this thing. So wheel speed with good torque, I'll take it. So we have the aux motor in the pumpkin spice build over here. So this is the Halloween edition, which is also the first truck that Liam did a complete swap on his own of. So I'll throw a picture of that in here. But it has the aux motor in it, which has been a favorite of mine, versus the 44 turn Holmes motor. So we're gonna race these and see which one is quicker. Ready? Yeah. 3, 2, 1, go. I think I got a little jump on you, but I think this motor's a little quicker than that one. And try it again. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, you jumped me there and I still got you. So I actually recorded audio and was talking while driving the truck, but my mic mostly picked up the nasty whine of this V1 ESC. So the audio was kind of rough. So sorry you can't hear the truck really running, but I wanted to talk about these motors a little bit just so you guys could understand what I was going through running these, because honestly, both of these were really good. I would drive this truck with the 44 turn and be like, oh yeah, I think I'm going to like this one better. You know, it's got this little more wheel speed. And then I would jump to the 66 turn and run that truck, and I would feel the super smooth slow crawl. And I'm like, man, I don't know. I think I like this better. So I really kind of found myself just bouncing back and forth. And, you know, that don't happen a lot. Usually there's a pretty big difference when it comes to two different motors like this, being two different turns and just offering two different things. But both of these were good enough at everything that I really could easily run either one of these, you know, especially on this course here. It's not like I need some crazy wheel speed. Now my foam course, you'll see later, there's a couple climbs on it that, you know, it takes a lot of wheel speed and some good tires to get up. And both of these really struggled on that. That's just a simple fact of having the worm gear axles and not running 3S. Basically, if you're going to get an SCX24 up those hills, you got to be on 3S. So, or running the FCX axles. So it was no surprise to me that these wouldn't make those climbs, honestly, but I did put them in here just so you guys could see that. But I think you can see the slow crawl with this truck. It's just smoother. You can, hopefully you can see it in the video. I definitely could feel it while driving, and watching this back, it looked like to me, you know, it was just a little less jerky. You can see I'm able to do everything with this truck, but it's a little more kind of start-stop. It's just a little more jumpy. So, whereas this truck here, look, I mean, I got some pretty smooth slow crawl with this at some point. So, honestly, I think the 55 turn in between both of these is probably the sweet spot. You know, if I was going to put money on which one I would probably enjoy the most, I would have to say that one, to be honest. Both of these are really good, though. Like I said, neither one is bad enough at one thing or the other that I found myself not enjoying it or thinking there's no way I'd run this motor, because they both do pretty well, you know. And so I don't really think you can go wrong with either one of these, to be honest. So you'll see right here, the back left tire, I try to jump this gap, and it just kind of falls in the hole. It didn't have the wheel speed that I really needed to get over that gap. And that's where a little bit of wheel speed can make all the difference. You know, I have people comment all the time when I talk about wheel speed, and I'm comparing speeds between motors or trucks or whatever. And, you know, they're saying, well, I don't care how fast it is. I'm not building a drag car. Like, I know that. Duh. You know, you can see here I'm cramming on this thing. Like, make it or break it, right? But that little bit of wheel speed makes all the difference in the world sometimes. It's not just about launching up a hill or drag racing. Just a simple little gap like right here this truck makes it with no problem. Now, I'm lined up a little bit better here than I probably was with the other one. I hit it where the gap was a little bit bigger, but you can see here, boom, it's got the wheel speed to carry right up that. So a little bit of wheel speed does make a difference, and you can see I'm pointing that out there, but it really does make a difference, and that's why I'm a sucker for wheel speed all the time. So I hadn't tried any of these climbs, and this rock here, I knew to make it across this, you're gonna have to hook that right front tire and kind of ride it, and I got a little too far up, so fell off. So I kind of put this back up here to try to see if I could make this climb, and ended up making it. Took a couple tries, but I was really impressed, you know, that this little truck, having not that many mods done to it, was able to make this, and so I was pretty happy that this little obstacle worked out. You know, I'm trying to build this course with the dirt and stuff and make it a little more realistic. I'm not a big like scale trail guy, you know, I get bored with stuff, but if I can have a few tougher obstacles like this mixed in, especially for testing, you know, then that's going to be great. So I feel like I can definitely make this an all-in-one run. But you can see there, I was able to make the transition and come down that, so that was pretty cool. I had a lot of fun with that. Good job, little buddy. No dirt in this hole over here where there really needs to be some dirt. Kind of makes it pretty cool trying to get through there, though. That was really tougher than it should be, but that's kind of how I want it. So coming back through this section here, I put this in a pretty rough bind here earlier, and I really did that just because I want to make sure this motor, having the good wheel speed, has the torque that we need also. And you can see it never stalls out, it never struggles. It's a make it or break it motor. So you're gonna make it or you're gonna break it. And that's what I'm all about. So that's just part of the reason why I do sections like that. You know, people always say, well, that's why you break this or that. I mean, it's kind of what I do, you know. I want to know if it's going to break or if this motor is going to stall out or whatever. So I had no issues with the torque on this motor. Having the extra wheel speed was nice. And like I said, I never struggled for torque either. So I feel like it's got a really good balance. Both of these motors, plenty of torque. I think they're both pretty good options, honestly. So here you see I'm back with the 66 turn, and I could immediately feel the difference with the slow crawl. It's easier in and out of your throttle and easier to keep kind of a slow, steady crawl. I think you can probably see that right there. And honestly, on this course, I didn't really miss the wheel speed too bad with this motor. I feel like for most people in most cases, like it's going to be plenty. But for me, knowing that I like that extra wheel speed, I just lean more towards the 44 turn. The good thing is we have 3 different options here, and you can kind of pick what fits your style or what fits your course. I didn't have any problem with this motor stalling out either, obviously, but I did kind of wish I had a little more wheel speed, but it wasn't really needed, if that makes sense. So on this course here, obviously, I didn't really need it too bad. There was 1 or 2 little spots where I noticed that I could have used more, but it was not a huge deal. But for me, knowing most of the time I want that wheel speed, you know, I lean more towards the 44 turn. But we have options, so that is what's really cool about it as well. So again, here, I feel like you can really see just kind of the steady, slow pace that I continue up these rocks here. I don't have to like feather on off or kind of have more of that little start-stop jerky crawl. I do right here feel like I could have used just a little more wheel speed right there, and I'd have made it up that. I readjust, get over to the right a little more where I probably should have been anyways, and it makes it fine. So maybe just pick your line a little bit better, whereas I feel like I could have hit that squared up like I was the first time with the 44 turn and still made it. So the trade-off is, you know, smooth crawl or a little more wheel speed to get you through some cases, and this thing's not going up that rock. So I just back off of that and start over. So you see right here when I back up and I start up this rock, how it's a little more start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. See, like, I don't get that smooth flow through there. Now, this is a little tougher section than the last one, so I have a tendency to kind of go on off of the throttle anyways. I'm bad about doing that. But I just felt like the 66 turn had a little better flow to it. I was able to get through everything, like I said, with this 44 turn motor as well. So it's not like it's an issue, but there's just that little bit of extra smoothness. Now, if you put that motor with the V2 ESC or something like that, maybe I'll have to pair it up with the V2 ESC and see how they do. But I'm just a little bit smoother here. You can see I got all the way to that point really before I stopped, and that was just because I kind of had to line up my front tires. So I just felt a little more connected and more smooth with the 66 turn. So I decided to try a couple of the climbs on the foam course where I really need the wheel speed. These tires were really struggling on the foam. You know, I really like these outside. They seem like they do pretty good on regular rock or, you know, a really high grip surface, of course. But they were having a fit trying to get up this. Now, both of these are unvented. My father-in-law's tires are not vented. So I didn't want to vent them. I don't know if he wants them vented or not. I haven't asked him. So I mounted these up and I didn't vent them either, just so that it was kind of, you know, mostly an even comparison. But neither one of them were really able to get the job done on the foam course here. And really, you just need a 3-cell battery with stock SCX24 axles to get up that. And you can see I'm pointing out that it's not even bumping up over that at all. Sometimes they'll get past that, and then they still struggle to have the wheel speed to get up that. This couldn't even make it bump over that little ledge at all. So usually an SCX24 on 2S is not going to make this. I don't know that I've had any of them. Maybe my Bronco, and maybe we got this truck up at once. I can't remember. With the stock motor, actually. I feel like it made it once, but I may be lying there. I'm not sure, but it just takes a lot to get up this, honestly, and that's kind of really why I've been switching to the FCX axles or at least run a 3S on my SCX24 worm gears because of clumps like this right here. And maybe if these tires were vented or some different tires, or if I sat here long enough, this would have made that. But it really just didn't act like it was getting very close, so I didn't give it much of a go.
I think if they were vented, it would help. And they just don't want to grip this plastic. It takes a pretty good tire to get up this stuff. Thought maybe I would cheat left there a little bit, but it's not going to do it. Let's try this one over here. I actually sprayed this a little more with this paint that I used for the texture. And I've had a couple of trucks slow crawl this the way it sits right now. Neither really has the wheel speed for that. All right, so what do you guys think? For me, I'm a sucker for wheel speed. I got to go with the 44 turn. The 66 turn, let's talk about this a little bit. So with the V1 ESC, this 66 turn is probably the smoothest slow crawl I've ran in a brush motor. It was really good. Lacking a little on the wheel speed for what I like, but going to be pretty good for most people, honestly. So if you don't have a lot of huge hills or things that you really have to bump up, that's a great choice for a, stock ESC truck that you're just kind of going to keep basic, sort of like this. Really good slow crawl in that. It's lacking the wheel speed. This has the wheel speed very good, probably the best wheel speed out of a brush motor I've ran with these ESCs. So, and the slow crawl is manageable. It's not near as good as this, but it is good enough to get you through what you're trying to do. So I didn't find myself hating it. You can always click down into your low or mid on the controller, and that helps a little bit. And it still had a lot of wheel speed. I actually put it in mid and forgot I had it in there because it still had good wheel speed to it. So both of these, very good. And then you got the middle of the road, the 55 turn. So I'm thinking this is lacking enough wheel speed for me that I'm going to try installing this in there and see how it feels. Maybe it's the perfect middle ground. And we'll see how that does. Maybe I'll recompare this with this. Sorry I didn't get this one in the mix right now. I've got so much to get to. So I cut in here with this clip just because shortly after I did my initial testing, my father-in-law came by and he ran the truck on the course here. And we were just kind of running, back to back. And he, towards the end of a battery pack, stock battery, he was getting pretty warm with the motor, like warm enough that he would kind of decide to let it cool for, 4 or 5 minutes before he just threw another pack in it and ran it. But he was very impressed with the wheel speed. I told him, hey, I upgraded your motor. Hope you're cool with it. And after he ran it, he really liked the wheel speed that he had in this truck now. So I just wanted to toss that in there because I didn't really have much heat issues when I was kind of running between two trucks because my time was split. But him putting a full pack through it, and actually spinning and running it pretty good, he did get fairly warm, but nothing that was going to hurt the motor or anything. So I just wanted to toss that in there so you guys knew the truth about the temperature on the motor and everything. So this is probably my choice for a brushed motor, honestly. It has great wheel speed, and I'm not saying that Holmes didn't send me these. I purchased all three of these. They're $12.99 a piece. So my positive review on these is because I liked how they ran. So take it for what you want. I don't seek out trying to get any of this stuff sent to me for free. if a company contacts me and they want to send me something, that's great, because it's more stuff I can afford to test for you guys that I actually have to buy. But I never ask for freebies. I will sometimes email or whatever to try to get to where I can purchase something a little early so I can get some extra time with it and get a video out for you guys. But did not get these for free or any kind of stipulations. So my positive review is 100% because these are good motors. I can't speak on how long they're going to last. Haven't had them very long, but you know, based on their name and everybody's thoughts on them, I feel like you're doing something right if you have the reputation that Holmes has, right? So I feel like there would be no issues there. There was no heat issues. They stayed nice and cool. I was kind of staggering. I'd run this one through a line, then this one through a line, so it wasn't hardcore nonstop running, but they didn't even really get just tiny bit warm. I could feel not hot at all. So great there. These are not listed as specific SCX24 motors, so you know, I understand why you got to drill the motor plate out, because these are just basic micro 050s. So these could work on some 18 scales even, and pretty much any 24 you want to put them in with a little bit of work. And just got to solder up those wires. Like I mentioned, I like to poke fun that it's extra work, but it really takes like 2 seconds. Pull your wires from the stock motor. I just desoldered them, tacked them onto the new motor. It really takes 2 seconds. That may turn some people away because they don't want to solder. Honestly, if you're going to be in this hobby, just get you a soldering iron and play around on something like this. It's cheap enough. It's easy. You're going to need to know how to solder in this hobby. It's just going to happen. So definitely go for it. You can do it. And you guys let me know what you think. I feel like these are really good motors, and you guys know I don't just say that. I feel like they really are. So I'm pretty impressed with the speed of this 44 turn, and the slow crawl was good enough, like I said. So I bet this 55 turn is definitely a great middle of the road, probably most people's choice. You guys let me know what you thought, how they looked in the video. If you have any questions, you have any better answers, you know more about them, you have them, which one do you prefer? And got a lot of stuff coming up. I got new Fury Tech 10 scale. Yes. So you know I got a new 10 scale for these, right? It's not a new release, just something I've really been wanting for a while and decided to get it for that, really. And a lot of 10 scale stuff coming up. Let me know if you want to see that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell, share the video. It helps out so much. Peace.